For Sarah Ferguson, the nightmare of 2026 didn't just end with an eviction notice at Royal Lodge. It began with a heavy iron gate slammed shut by her own blood. Desperate, facing a social exile that has scrubbed her name from every royal ledger, and with nowhere left to turn, she reached out to her daughter, Eugenie, for a final lifeline. She was looking for a place to sleep, a moment of peace, and a way to escape the storm. But she didn't count on Jack Brooksbank. Driven by a cold, unwavering code of honor, Jack has reportedly issued a 3-word response that has effectively built a wall around his wife and children, one that even a mother's tears cannot pierce. As the fallout from the February arrest and the release of those 3 million leaked files turns the York name into a professional poison, a brutal choice has been made. But was this a move to protect a young family, or a calculated betrayal to save a booming business from the ultimate taint? Before we reveal the shocking reason why Jack is keeping the gates locked and the board-level decision that changed everything, make sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video so you never miss an update on the unfolding royal drama. For Jack Brooksbank, the line in the sand wasn't drawn with ink, it was drawn with a code of honor that turned the family home into a fortress. While the world watched the headlines, a silent war was being waged behind the closed doors of Ivy Cottage. Jack has spent years scrubbing the royal bartender label from his name, transforming himself into a powerhouse with AEB consultants and recording a staggering 1,600% profit increase. He didn't build a multi-million-dollar empire just to watch it burn because of someone else's scandals. The reality hit hard in early 2026. As the 3 million pages of the Epstein files began to circulate, the name York became radioactive in the business world. Jack knew that one wrong move, one photo of a disgraced family member entering his home could end his career overnight. He wasn't just protecting a house, he was protecting his livelihood. But the pressure wasn't just coming from the outside. Inside the cottage, the tension was thick enough to cut. Imagine the weight on Eugenie, caught between the mother who raised her and the husband who is determined to shield their sons, August and Ernest, from the taint of association. Every time the phone rang, the same question hung in the air. How much longer could they stay under the radar? Jack's first loyalty is to his wife and children, and he refuses to step into the line of fire himself. He has watched as the social circle that once embraced the Yorks began to shrink, leaving them isolated in a world of high-stakes litigation and public shaming. He knows that in the court of public opinion, guilt by association is a life sentence. Yet, as Jack tightened the security and reinforced the boundaries, he realized the threat wasn't just a hypothetical scandal from the past. It was a very real, very present crisis involving an 11-hour interrogation and a sudden arrest that left the entire family reeling. While Jack was busy building walls to keep the scandal out, his father-in-law was facing interrogation that would change the family's standing forever. Being a former royal is expensive, but being an evicted one is a death sentence for your social standing. Sarah Ferguson didn't just lose her home at Royal Lodge in early 2026, she lost her foundation. After being ordered to vacate the 30-room mansion by January 25th, the woman once credited with saving Christmas found herself in a position no one saw coming, sofa surfing at the age of 66. From the luxury wellness retreats of Zurich to the guest rooms of friends like Priscilla Presley, Sarah has been a woman in motion, desperately trying to outrun the shadow of those 3 million leaked Epstein pages. But lying low isn't free. With 6 of her businesses winding down and her own charity, Sarah's Trust, closing its doors for the foreseeable future, the financial walls are closing in just as fast as the physical ones. Imagine the desperation of a mother realizing her safety net has been shredded. Sarah reportedly turned to her daughters, Beatrice and Eugenie, hoping for a granny annex or even a temporary suite to ride out the storm. But while the sisters might have been aghast and appalled by the emails linking her mother to the financier, there was a much bigger barrier standing in the way of a family reunion. That barrier has a name: Jack Brooksbank. Jack isn't just a husband, he's a businessman with a 1,600% profit increase to protect. He has reportedly seen the taint of association destroy careers in a heartbeat, and he is refusing to let his home become the next casualty. While Eugenie might want to help her mother, the code of honor in their household is clear. The safety of their 2 young sons and the stability of their life in Portugal come before anyone else's crisis. But as Sarah looked for a place to call home, a much more official execution was being planned behind the scenes. A board-level decision was about to be made that would strip her of the one thing she valued more than Royal Lodge itself. It's one thing to be a private citizen with a messy family, but for Princess Eugenie, the mess just became a professional execution. In early March 2026, the unthinkable happened. Anti-Slavery International, the world's oldest human rights organization, quietly scrubbed Eugenie's profile from their website. After 7 years of high-profile advocacy, her patronage didn't just end, it was vaporized. The irony is as sharp as a knife. While Eugenie was being hailed as a leader in the fight against human trafficking, her father was being interrogated for 11 hours over his ties to a man synonymous with it. The charity's statement was polite, but the timing was a scream. They thanked her for her support and essentially showed her the door, proving that in 2026, the York brand has become a liability that even a saintly cause can't afford to carry. But the ghosting didn't stop with charities. Imagine the sting of being told you're no longer welcome at the family's most prestigious events. Reports have surfaced that both Eugenie and Beatrice have been quietly excluded from the 2026 Royal Ascot and Trooping the Colour. These aren't just horse races, they are the ultimate symbols of royal belonging. To be removed from the guest list is the palace's way of saying you are the collateral damage in a war you didn't start. This social excommunication is part of a broader, colder strategy. Sources indicate that senior royals have been advised not to be photographed with the sisters for the remainder of the year. It's a total blackout. One day you're in the royal procession, and the next you're a PR risk that needs to be managed. As the sisters feel blindsided and mortified by the 3 million pages of evidence turning their world upside down, they are realizing that their titles might be the only things they have left. But even those are under threat, because while the public is busy looking at the charity exits, a much more calculated move was happening in the shadows. A board-level decision that was about to strip the York family of their very identity. The York brand didn't just fade away, it was systematically dismantled in a closed-door board meeting that changed everything. While the world was distracted by the headlines of a January eviction, a powerful group of legal and PR advisors reached a brutal consensus. The name Sarah Ferguson had to be neutralized. This wasn't a suggestion, it was an execution of an identity that had been built over decades. The board's directive was clear: total removal. In a move that sent shockwaves through the publishing world, Sarah was reportedly forced to scrub her titles from every digital platform she owned. The handle that once proudly displayed her status was deleted, replaced by a generic name that signaled her new reality. She wasn't a duchess anymore. She was just another person trying to survive a scandal that had grown too large for any title to protect. But the real blow wasn't to her ego, it was to her bank account. This board-level scrubbing reportedly triggered morality clauses in her multi-million-dollar book deals and brand partnerships. Within 48 hours, the $20 million empire she had carefully constructed through her Duchess persona began to evaporate. When your brand is your title, and your title is deemed radioactive, you don't just lose your status, you lose your survival. Imagine the panic of realizing your life's work is being deleted in real time by a committee you can't control. The advisors didn't stop at her name, they mandated a total blackout, effectively unpersoning her from the official circles she once dominated. Every post, every mention, and every association was sanitized to protect the remaining members of the family from the taint of those 3 million leaked pages. This wasn't just about a name change, it was a calculated stripping of power designed to make her disappear. But as Sarah watched her identity being erased, she realized the most painful rejection wouldn't come from a board of advisors, it would come from the one person she thought would always keep the door open. With her title gone and her finances in freefall, she made one last desperate attempt to find safety, only to hit a wall of honor that was even colder than the board's decision.